Not a speck of light is showing, so the danger must be growing. Are the fires of hell a-glowing? Is the grisly reaper mowing? Yes! The danger must be growing, for the rowers keep on rowing, and they're certainly not showing any signs that they are slowing!
Oh, make him stop, Daddy!
Wonka, this has gone far enough! Quite right, sir. Stop the boat!
Hey, howdy, hey, chocolate fans, Wolfman47 here. So, you probably by now have read a lot of Roald Dahl stories, or have seen a lot of films based on Roald Dahl stories. There's a handful, there's quite a few of them out there, many of which are still in book stages and not really been adapted to screen for any particular reason. But one that a lot of people know is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So, this was basically a pretty simple concept. 5 lucky children get a golden ticket to go see this chocolate factory by this guy that I guess you could kind of say wants to move on with his life and wants to give the chocolate factory over to someone. And they go, and these children go into the factory. Each one gets taken out one by one, not like in a sort of brutal kind of way, but they just get taken out for misfortunes or whatever. And then Charlie ends up being the one that wins it, and so they go and get his family. So he, Wonka, and his grandpa go and get the family in, and everything's all fine and dandy. 2 books were made: the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. The only time, I believe, where Roald Dahl has actually made a sequel book to one of his stories. And there's been at least 3 film adaptations. So you've got the Gene Wilder one, the classic film with musical numbers and everything. And it's a film that most people would describe as, despite the name, is probably more focused on Charlie than it is with Wonka. So that's that one. Then you got the remake of that film by Tim Burton, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which while not as good as the original, some people do still like, and it definitely has the sort of style of Tim Burton. Funny enough, it's pretty much the opposite of the original film, where it's more focused on Wonka than Charlie, despite the name. But it's very much that film, and it feels kind of more complete towards the ending, because they don't really adapt the second book. It just feels like a very complete film. So that's that one. And then we got the more recent film, which has nothing to do with any of the books. It's just more of an origin story for Wonka himself, simply called Wonka, because Paul King, director of the first 2 Paddington films, wanted to create a Wonka film, and we got that, and with the potential of a sequel on the way. So with all that said and done, and me telling you all that, there is a question about what could have happened if Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was portrayed as a horror. Now, to start with, it does have the makings of the horror anyway, because you got this stranger that invites these children into his factory, and pretty much anything could happen, and things do happen. So Augustus Gloop gets stuck into a pipe. The blueberry girl, I forget her name, she eats a gum, transforms into a big blueberry, and she gets rolled away. Veruca Salt finds herself being a bad nut and gets thrown into a pit. And then Mike TV is pretty much shrinked down and thrown into a TV. So yeah, it's kind of a case of pretty much every single child does get a kind of sort of, not murdered per se, but does get things done to them that are going to scar them for life. So how would it have worked as a horror, is probably what you're asking. Simply put, it's you got Wonka, who's this guy that invites these children into his factory, and he's basically the killer in the film or story. He'd basically be the guy that brings the people into his factory, portraying himself as a sort of benevolent figure and so forth, but secretly he's quite twisted, because anybody who knows Wonka candy will know that you have to have a kind of a twisted mind to be able to create those sorts of candies. You know, the nerds, the shock tarts, and all the rest of them. So yeah, you do kind of need to have a bit of a twisted mind to be in that situation. So with all that said and done, I don't know if it would have got done well or even come into existence to be a horror film with 5 children being killed in the most horrific and twisted ways. But if it was, say, portrayed as a sort of typical horror, because I get the feeling that a lot of us will probably not be too keen on seeing a film where there's children that are going to be murdered, but would be more okay with sort of young adults being murdered, because most horrors are about young adults being murdered for being stupid and silly and just doing all the usual horror tropes. So yeah, it's kind of a case of you have to be really careful with this sort of thing. But saying that, it does kind of work well as a sort of dark and twisted kind of film. Kind of like The Menu, which was released a couple of years ago, in which Ralph Fiennes plays this celebrity chef who decides to invite these people to his restaurant and decides he's going to torture them by initially sort of coming up with these different choice food items, and ultimately sort of revealing the fact that he only ever wanted these individuals to be invited so that he can basically kill them because of all the things that they have done to sort of discredit him and all that. So in that sense, it kind of would work the same way with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory horror, albeit with a bit more brutality and a bit more violence thrown in, and the fact that because it's a horror and killing children is not really something that any kind of age rating system would like to see on screen. It would have to be a case of it has to be either young adults or grown-ups and sort of portrayed like it was portrayed in The Menu. So basically it would be The Menu, but a chocolate factory instead of a restaurant, a chocolatier or entrepreneur or whatever in the place of the celebrity chef. And it wouldn't be about a case of people sitting down having food. It would be a case of people exploring the factory only to realise that there are things going on in the factory, and it's probably a case of these investors are coming in, and yeah, it definitely has the makings of being a very twisted film. Horror or not, it will definitely be has the makings of being a very twisted film because of, as I said, to make all those different candy and so forth, you do need to have a very sort of twisted and imaginative mind. So yeah. So if that was ever turned into a film, a Charlie and Chocolate Factory horror, or just a generally Charlie and Chocolate Factory twisted film, it wouldn't simply be called that. It'd probably be called, I don't know, Wonka's Horror, or simply The Chocolate Factory. You know, keeping it in line with how simple The Menu is with its film title. So yeah, I will say though, with regards to The Menu, it is one of the few films I've seen where, because of how simple it is, it's actually a film that I do remember a lot from, because you get so many films where it's got so much exposition, so much explaining and all this other stuff, that big budget films and the major studios fail to understand that not everybody's that interested with all this explanation. They just want action and so forth, as long as it's done right. So yeah, that's basically what I think about Charlie and Chocolate Factory as a horror. It probably won't be portrayed as a horror anytime soon with things that happen, but you know, if I've always said that every single film I've ever seen, there's always going to be a mockbuster about it, which is basically a big parody version of a film, but expressively not using the actual name of the films or the characters or whatever. And of course, there's always going to be a porno version of the film, because that's the thing, if you're into porn, you know. And obviously there's going to be people that have their own fan fiction versions of the film, and those most of the time only ever remain as fan fiction, which, those of you who are not in the know, it's when a fan creates these stories that they desperately want to happen, but they know they can't, so they just write some and hope that people give it a read. So yeah, and yeah, just I think it's just a film that could work, but a film that's probably not going to happen anytime soon. Not with how things are going with certain studios at the moment. So yeah, but I'd love to see it. And I know some people would love to see it as well. So yeah. Right. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more of my videos. I upload videos at various times daily in the BST/GMT time zone. So vlogs like this where I talk about things in pop culture, like what's happening in my life, and holes as well. I also do gameplay videos where it's just straight up gameplay, no commentary whatsoever, but there are some extra things thrown in for good measure. Also let's play videos, which you know what let's play videos, I don't need to explain it to you, but in case you don't know what it is, my camera is on, it's on the corner, I do commentary, sometimes do challenges if I feel up to it and all that stuff. And shorts celebrating anniversaries and birthdays of people and things that I like. And those of you who know me well enough will know that I'm the sort of person that kind of likes people that are muscular, curvy or whatever. So that's because I am into men and women, and that's kind of why you do get to see these shorts that were a bit too much flesh. But yeah. So yeah, I do those. Sometimes I also do polls as well, just to find out what people are going to be watching at the cinema when there's some big releases coming out, and just to help the channel out as well. So that's what I do. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you want to share with your pals, do so. If you want to leave a comment, do so. See you in the next one. Peace to you all. And remember, do not take the advice of a stranger. If a stranger invites you to a chocolate factory, remember to take your parent or guardian with you, or some other person that you know is very careful and all that. Because the last thing you need is some risk assessment happening where you realise that you've been thrown into a trap, someone's trying to kill you in this thing, and you just need to get out. So yeah, just be very careful when talking to strangers, especially those that give you golden tickets or just plant golden tickets inside candy bars and all that. So yeah. Right. Toodles.
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You stole fizzy lifting drinks. You bumped into the ceiling, which now has to be washed and sterilized, so you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.